What's up, YouTube? And welcome back to another episode of Shop Talk. I'm Matt and we're at Texas Toast Guitars. Thanks for watching. So the purpose of today's video is to talk to you guys about a bunch of new workshops that we've added and talk to you specifically about some of the things that you're going to do in one of those workshops, actually two of those workshops. But before I go deep diving into that, link in the description below, Texas Toast Guitars. And if you click on workshops, you'll see something that says 5280 Lou 3 workshops. Some people might not know, but we did change the name of the workshops. It used to be Texas Toast, Wood, Sweat, and Beers, and that's always been kind of a funny thing. But I kind of got tired of people going, hey, what part of Texas are you in? So I changed it to 5280. Now, the reason we changed it to 5280 is because we are located right outside of Denver, Colorado. So it's really easy to get to. One of the biggest airports in the world. Just zip right in and we're right there. Denver is colloquially known as the Mile High City. And there are 5,280 feet in a mile. So a lot of stuff around here is 5280, like 5280 brakes and struts and 5280 burritos, and you know, those aren't real places, but you get what I'm talking about. Okay, so 5280 Lou 3 workshops, and we've got some new stuff coming up. Actually, the end of this year, 2024. I'm not sure when you're rewatching this, but and it's called our Essential Guitar Building Workshops. So, and they are actual classes. They are not. It's a deep dive into a bunch of different components to building guitars. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So anyway, and the reason I want to talk about necks today, and the title of this video is "What is a practice neck and why we're going to force you to make one," is because we've done a bunch of videos lately on you know, that silly 2x4 SG. Let's grab that real quick. So we've done a bunch of videos on the 2x4 SG, and this started out life as a viewer asked the question, should I use 2x4s to practice building necks? And I said no, and then I said, well, why not? And so I decided to make a whole guitar out of 2x4s. But this lost sight of practicing like almost immediately, and suddenly became, can you make a guitar out of 2x4s? Obviously you can. But a lot of people were like, oh man, I bet you that's going to be great. I bet you it's gonna be tone, end the tone wood debate and stuff like that. But the purpose of this was never to do any of that. It was just to practice making a guitar neck with a 2x4. And I took it way too far, and then you guys took it way too far. So we went from something that was, should you use a 2x4 to practice making a neck, to should you use 2x4s to build guitars. So anyway, while this was a funny thing to do, it doesn't really tell you guys anything about, like, you know, what kind of a guitar maker are you going to be? You know what I mean? So let's put this back. So I got to thinking, well, if the wood to build a neck is not that much more expensive, but the labor to build the neck is exactly the same, what do I think you guys should do for a practice neck? And that kind of got me down this road of, you know what we need to do? We need to offer all of the same workshops that we've been offering for as long as we've been offering them. And we need to offer some more in-depth workshops and classes. And the first one that we're offering is Essential Guitar Building Necks Part 1 and Essential Guitar Building Necks Part 2. So, and they're back-to-back, and they're both 3 days. And we've got a bunch of people who are interested in them. Some people have already signed up for them in, I think it's December this year, 2024. But one of the things that you're going to do, one of the first things that you're going to do when you show up for Essential Neck Building 1 is you're going to be issued a fretboard and a piece of maple, okay? And you are also going to be given some templates. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to make a practice neck. I made this practice neck today, this morning, okay? Well, so what is a practice neck, Matt? That's a good question. And I think the most important part of a practice neck is you need to realize that there will be things that you get wrong on your practice neck, says me. I'm basing what I say on everybody who's come out to take one of our workshops. There's some stuff that they say like, oh man, you know what, if I had it to do over again, I'd have done this a little differently. Or if I had it to do over again, I wouldn't have, you know, made a headstock. Whatever it is. I'm not calling out anybody. I'm just saying I've heard a lot of people, you know, say I would have done things differently if I had another neck to do. Well, it only took 5 years for me to get that light bulb. And say, why don't we have you guys start with a neck that you know going in you're gonna make mistakes on, and this is not your neck, okay? So Essential Guitar Building 1, you will be building, actually you'll be building 2 necks. You'll be building your practice neck and then your actual neck. That's gonna be an awful lot like your practice neck. Now I'm gonna let me go forward and then let's come back to that. In Essential Neck Building 2, you're going to be building a neck for a set neck. So so your practice neck and your first neck are going to be bolt-on necks because it's just a little easier to do, okay? So you can imagine like a practice neck, well, there's lots of stuff that you might want to practice. Like, well, there's some stuff you got to get right off the bat. You got to make sure that you're just basically look at this board here. It's like you got to get flat straight lumber. So we're going to issue you a board from Dan and Calvin at Tonewood Experts, and it's oversized. The reason it's oversized is because the first thing you're going to do is you're going to plane this down so that you have a nice flat surface, and then you're going to get the other side parallel to the flat surface that you made and exactly the thickness that your maple neck needs to be. Then you're going to take your fretboard blank and you're going to do basically the same thing, and you're going to prep for glue. You're not going to glue it yet, you're just going to prep it for gluing. Then you're going to take your template and you're going to put on your practice neck blank, and you're going to trace around it, you're going to cut it out, you're going to put your fretboard on, and you're going to fret the neck, and you're going to drill for holes, and you're going to put that little scoop in there. And all of this stuff is going to be done on a piece of wood that will never, ever, ever be a neck. The reason I say it's never, ever, ever going to be a neck is 1, because I know you're going to make some mistakes. 2, we're not putting truss rods in these because they don't need truss rods. Okay? I can show you how to turn a truss rod without having to build a neck with extra money and truss rods in it. Okay? The other thing is, like, if you have wood that's got like some little blemishes or inclusions in it, it's no big deal because it's your practice neck. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do inlay and side dots. We're going to radius the fretboards. We're going to fret them. Okay, now because this is your practice neck, we're going to fret them, and then we're going to immediately pull all the frets out, and then we're going to immediately resurface and re-fret your neck. Okay. That gives you, so that just kind of lets you know the kind of detail that we're going to be doing in Essential Neck Building. So like I said, you'll be building 3 necks, but you're going to be doing four fret jobs, okay? One of them is going to be a repair. So a lot of people who have neck building workshops, they talk about refretting, and they have like maybe a lecture. We actually have you go ahead and do it. So your practice neck is the ideal neck to do that kind of stuff on. Again, you're going to be shaping your neck. Okay, you're going to be shaping your neck with hand tools and hand tools only. I'm going to show you how to do it, and I'm going to be there when you're doing it, but we're not going to use any power tools because, for all I know, you may not have any power tools at home. We're going to do it the old school way with all hand tools, which is also cool because it gives you an idea. If you get it wrong, no big deal. You learn from your mistakes. Hopefully you learn, right? and you take the lessons that you learned from your practice neck, and you make your next neck you make better. And by the way, your next neck, you're going to be issued a blank, a neck blank, and a fretboard blank. In this case, it's rosewood, but it'll probably be, the practice necks will probably be maple, maple fretboards, that is. Yeah, and so you'll get a chance to do all this great stuff. So, what is a practice neck? I think we outlined what a practice neck is, and why are we gonna ask/force you to do it? Because in our brand new series of workshops, Essential Guitar Building, it's going to start with necks, and this is the first neck that you're going to build. If this ever becomes a neck, well, it's not going to ever become a neck. It's never going to be a neck, okay? But you're going to do a bunch of work on this. You're going to make a bunch of mistakes on this, and you're going to learn a lot by working on this neck, okay? And then the subsequent necks that you make in Essential Neck Building 1 and 2, you're going to be able to put all the lessons that you learned into action on your good necks. Okay, so practice neck, no big deal if the practice neck is a pile, as long as you learn from the mistakes that you made when you were doing your practice neck. Okay, so there is also going to be Essential Guitar Building bodies. You're going to build 2 bodies. You're going to build a Telecaster body, and you're going to be building a set neck body of your own design. There's a finishing component. You're going to put all the finish on the guitars that you did. We're going to go over oil-based finishes, or wipe-on oil finishes. We're going to cover spray finishes. We're going to cover color finishes, sunburst, metallics, and stuff like that. You might even have a chance to do a lot of those things, but you're probably going to have to pick one. And frankly, if you can spray metallic paint, you can spray candy, and if you can do all that stuff, we can teach you how to do a sunburst too. And so anyway, that's going to be our finishing component. There's going to be an electronics component. I'm going to see if Dylan McCurchie wants to come out and do a pickup winding phase with us. I think that would be really fun. And if not, that's no problem, because there's so much other stuff to cover when it comes to electronics. And then finally, the final block will be setup, assembly and setup. And you will walk out of the Essential Guitar Building workshops with, if you do all of them, you walk out with 2 guitars. One, the classic Telecaster, and one is going to be a set neck of your own design. Not to mention a bunch of hands-on instruction, a bunch of practice pieces, and a bunch of things that you can work on and get wrong if you have to, and then get right in the subsequent steps. Okay, so hope this answers some of y'all's questions about the Essential Guitar Building workshops. And if not, please leave them in the comment section below. I would love to answer your questions. Please send us emails about the Essential Guitar Building workshops, and what you would like to do when you come out and take those. Remember, all of our other legacy classes are still in full effect. You want to come out and do the Ultimate Strat, or Ultimate Tele, or Ultimate Les Paul, Ultimate PRS, Neck Through SG, Super Strat. We're doing all that stuff still, those 1-week classes where you walk in with nothing and you walk out with a super cool heirloom quality guitar. Essentially what Essential Guitar Building workshops are doing is replacing the classic woodworking workshops. There's so much material to cover, it's not fair to do it in 5 or 7 days. So I think that that woodworking is it's something that I wake up and do every day. It's not what I do though, it's who I am. So yeah, so I'm gonna teach you, and I'm gonna see if I can ingrain some of that spiritual component as well. Okay, so gang, thanks for hanging out with me for this episode of Shop Talk. Like I said, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And this is Matt at Texas Toast, reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. That's what I did. We'll see you next time, guys. Have a great week.